Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with MMA fighter Justin Van Heerden from Freestyle MMA. How are you, brother?
Good, bro. Good.
You mentioned it's super hot over there, bro. What's the temperature today over in Windang?
Yeah, it's hitting the 40s. We're in the 40s today. So, and then it's windy, it's humid. So, yeah, we're feeling it today. Sparring this morning was a hot one, but it was good.
I was going to say, is it like a sweat box in there, bro, or is the air conditioning enough to cope with it?
Oh man, you know Joe Lopez. He doesn't give us any courtesies with the air conditioning, fans, or anything like that. We just have to suffer.
That's the way, bro. I actually always like gyms like that, man. Like, you go to Thailand, it's hot as fuck, and I know over here I've been training a few gyms over the past that were just so hot, man. You're nearly dying in there, but it feels like a challenge, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you get closer to the fight and you start, having to get to the point where you're cutting the weight. It makes it a lot easier when it's hot like this. Way better than
Yeah.
in winter.
Yeah, and speaking of freestyle MMA, bro, must be a bit of a vibe happening at the moment. You're fighting soon on Eternal. Obviously, Volk's fighting. Who else is on the card over there? You got Jamie as
Mullarkey.
well. Jamie, yeah,
Yep.
Jamie's now suddenly a late call up to the card, bro. Must be a bit of a vibe happening, right?
Yeah, and obviously, the room's stacked. Got a bunch of people over for Volk's camp as well. You got, like Ruffy's in there doing his camp with us as well. So he's fighting as well. So he's training with us. You got a bunch of guys from overseas. Obviously, Brad Riddell, Frank Hickman, all the usual suspects are there. So it's quite a stacked room at the moment.
Awesome, man. Did you get a chance to train at all with Mercio Ruffy?
Yeah, I've been getting a bit of work in with him. Obviously, especially with the sort of, I guess, the things that I do well, I could sort of give him good looks. And obviously, he's one of the best strikers in the world. So, for me to sort of get to, I guess, mix it up with him in that sense is quite good for me and very beneficial. So, yeah, it's been good. We've been bouncing off each other quite a bit.
Yeah, man, I was thinking that. I was actually just thinking that, like his reflexes and that are pretty slick, man. And then he's been challenged recently with the grappling, so it's something you could work on with each other. It's good, right?
Yeah, obviously, and then you can kind of draw from things, and I can pick his brain with a few things, and then see some of the stuff that he does in the stand-up side, and then yeah, obviously with the if I can give him a good look in the grappling and the wrestling, and kind of, I guess, do things that are at a high level, but also like unconventional in a sense that you don't sort of see, or that a lot of people don't do, and then kind of gives him a little bit of a boost as well. So yeah, it's been cool, and you can kind of sort of bounce off each other.
Him and Fiziev should be a sick fight, bro, especially if it stays kind of in the standing realm. It'll be very interesting, right?
Yeah, if it stays standing, it's gonna be wild because they're both obviously very elite strikers, and it's gonna If I feel like if Fiziev doesn't mix it up, it's gonna be one of those fights where it's like the first person that makes a mistake, it's gonna be over.
Yeah, like that Brad Riddell Fiziev, man. I love that fight. It was just so a knife edge fight, bro. Although Brad ended up copping a spinning heel kick or something, up until then it was just so tight, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even today, like I got to sort of catch on one of the rounds where I watched Brad spar with Rufi, and it was just like you're just seeing like you know these high level guys in the exchanges, and you kind of just like it's a game of inches, as they say, but you can kind of see, even in that sense, it's like it's so beautiful. It's like art
Yeah.
when you sort of watch people exchange like that.
True. And bro, you got Eternal MMA 102 in Sydney as the same weekend as UFC 325. So you can be sure it's going to be a crowd of pretty, MMA fans that want to watch both UFC and Eternal back to back. And you probably have a few people from UFC in that around too, right? So it should be a good show.
Yeah, and it should be a good atmosphere. Like usually, those are the best weekends to fight on. Like the last one I did when I fought in Perth the night before the UFC when I fought Costa for the third time. Like, yeah, it's just cool because everyone there is like pretty much across the sport, right? They're like pretty big fans of the sport. So then, it kind of just made that atmosphere a bit different. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was like on the Friday, man, because it's like you stay up late as hell watching it there, then you got to try and get to sleep and get up the next day early to watch the UFC. You're like, I don't want to miss the undercard either. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
pretty
I'm
good.
hearing you. That last one with you, I think I slept for like maybe an hour, then we had to wake up and get to the UFC.
Exactly, man. Now looking forward to. So you're fighting against Jesse Swain, kind of an up and comer in professional ranks because he hasn't had many professional fights, but he's got impressive knockout power. Did a good body kick last fight, wasn't it? I think he won by body
Yeah.
kick and KO the one before. So he's looking to make a statement in one of the experienced veterans as yourself, bro, in Eternal. So what's the plan?
Yeah, he's obviously he's very confident. He's young. He's obviously hasn't had that much experience, especially at the pro level, and then he hasn't experienced that much adversity up until this point. So obviously he's got that extra confidence in that. But I don't know. To me, it's a crazy concept. Like he asked to fight me, and I was like, me, I'll just say I'll accept the fight with anyone. So I was like, yeah, whatever. But then I was actually quite surprised when Eternal actually sent a contract with his name on it. I was like, all right, well, fair enough. And then obviously since the fight's been announced, he's been quite quite busy on the old socials, saying all these funny things as he's meant to. He's young, he's confident. So, but yeah, no, he's gonna run into a brick wall come fight night. Like, I don't know. It's just it baffles me because it's like I'm more experienced. I've seen everything. I fought better people, and I think there's just like this false. It's almost like a false sense of confidence because like you're putting up videos of you hitting pads and talking about how you're the best unsigned prospect in the weight class and this and that. And I'm here doing like rounds with, Volk, Marwan Rahiki, fucking Ruffy, Colby Thickness, Brad Riddell. Like, look at the room, look at my training partners. And, you know, to quote the great, Nate Diaz, this dude's playing touch butt with people holding fucking pads. So it's like, what are we doing? But nah, I'm sure he's going to come in. He's going to be dangerous. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to look to, put me away. And I guess he probably is going off my last fight against George and probably thinking, okay, well, if George can do that, I can do that. And I think there's a bit of a difference in level there. So, obviously it's a game. It's a dangerous game we play with the little gloves. But I just feel like I'm going to take away what he wants to do. I'm going to put him on his back. I'm going to elbow him and punch him until he's ready to quit. And then I'm going to show him the door and take his neck and put him out.
Yeah, I clinging to the puncher's chance, bro. There's always a chance, like you said, small gloves. I remember Dan Hooker saying he wouldn't even want his missus to tap him on the chin with those gloves. So, anyone can hurt anyone pretty much in those gloves. But yeah, I mean, you look at the tail of the tape, bro. It's a bit of a mismatch in a way. But I'm hoping you can stay motivated and take it as seriously as you can, man, because that would be the temptation, right? To just to assume that you can take someone. When, like you said, everyone's got a chance.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's been everyone can kind of see when, if you look at some of the fights, like the fights where I kind of feel like, it's either like there's like massive danger, or I'm like, this is like, there's a potential to be, like a rough night in the office if you're not sharp. And I come out of my best performances, and I'd like to sort of, I guess, caveat off that the fights where I kind of feel like I'm being sort of disrespected in a sense, or kind of like looked past in a sense, and that kind of does the same thing. So yeah, that's kind of like that. Like I feel it is a bit of that, right? It's a bit of a sort of thing like that where it comes across as like a bit disrespectful that you think you've had 2 pro fights and you can step in there with someone like me. But now, I get to show you that you're not ready. You're going to be great. You're going to be great in the sport. You're going to go a long way in the sport. You're young, you're up and coming, you're still in your career, but the night that we step in there and we get in that eternal cage, it's not going to be good for you. It's going to be pretty fucking rough.
Yeah, bro, it's a tough path, man. Just like thinking I've been following you for a few years, man, and there's times when you're top of the world, knocking on the door to some bigger organizations and that, and then you get set back with a couple of losses, man. How does it feel to you? Like, I mean, how are you feeling in yourself these days? Because it's a very tough road, tough path you guys follow.
Yeah, it's obviously like you have those days where you're obviously like madly in love with the sport, and then you have the days where you're kind of just like, what the fuck? Like, why do I do this to myself? And it's kind of like goes hand in hand, right? Like everyone always uses that quote of saying it's like the highest highs and the lowest lows, but more often than not, this sport just takes a lot more than what it gives you. And I think it's kind of, but then when you have those moments where things sort of fall into place and things go well, it's kind of like, that you can't replicate that feeling in any way, shape or form. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's a shitty kind of deal, right? It's like when things go badly or they don't work out, it's like the worst thing ever and it's horrible and you're kind of like, fuck. But then, you get that little bit of a boost and then you're just like, fuck, I love this shit. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'll do this all the time. But then, just as easily it can like kind of sit you on your ass and be like, fuck, what is going on? But yeah, it's just very much like that. Like, I think that's why we love the sport, because it's weeks and months of work for, you know, for you to step in there and it could go 10 seconds and be done. And then you're like, fuck. Or, you know, it could go, you get in there and you just, like we said, with these little gloves, you crack someone, put them away and it's over. And, you know, you did all that work and it took you less than a minute to get your job done. And it's kind of good because you win, but you're kind of also like, fuck, really? Like I did all that just for that little bit.
Yeah, man, super tough. And on that, man, like, what do you see yourself doing? Like, what's the ideal sort of thing for you? You still looking at the big organizations? You're going to stay on this scene? What are your kind of ideas in your head about what you'd like to do?
Um, yeah, I think ideally, I think this would be like it for me regionally here in Australia. I think there's not much. I mean, this fight, and like I said, I'm surprised this fight even came together. And I know they were sort of clutching at straws for other opponents or something for me. So I guess the realistic outcome is, or the outlook to have is I go and elbow Jesse's face off and snatch his neck and get out of there. And then, look to sort of fight, either look to fight overseas in some of these like overseas promotions and stuff like that. Because I think regionally, I think I'm done. I think it's literally, I'm one of the very few people that's like fought everyone around. So it's kind of like, what do we do from here? We got to probably fight overseas or fight overseas guys.
Yeah. Do you have any interest in things like, I mean, I know it's hard to get in, but things like Contender still and Road to UFC and these ones? Road to UFC's taken a couple of guys around your age as well. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, it's like obviously there's things like that. Like, you know, the fun thing about the sport is like you go out there and you string together like a couple of good performances, and especially like, you know, go out there and get like some show-stopping moments or whatever, and you know, the world's your oyster, and you kind of, yeah, you're in, you know, everything sort of comes your way quite quickly. But yeah, something like a Road to UFC or something like that might be a thing. For this season of Road to UFC, obviously before that kicked off, we put our hands up for that. But because I'm South African, it's not an eligible country, so they didn't want to. We couldn't get the ball rolling.
Oh, for
And then
real?
at the
Oh,
time,
yeah. I didn't think of that. I was
and
thinking
then
yeah, fuck.
and then at the time, obviously Sebastian and I were still teammates, so we didn't. It was like a case of you didn't want to like
Yeah.
have to make it where two guys are picking for the same spot. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those sort of things. But yeah, I don't know. Like the main thing for me now is like I'll just get through this upcoming fight, focus on that, finish this last couple of weeks off, and then, you know, get this fight done. And then, like I said, it'll be a case of let's see what we can get done overseas, or potentially get overseas people to fight on Eternal. But I think
Yeah.
the more likely outcome is me sort of fighting on these overseas promotions again, probably like JCK or UAE or Cage Warriors or something like that.
That one Friday night fights is pretty cool one to jump on if you ever get the chance. Like just a cool little show in Lumpini, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a lot of MMA fights, but they throw a couple in there.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. So anything like that, then we can kind of see what happens.
Yeah, get on it, bro. It's close to me. I'll be over there.
No, yeah, I'm well, especially being over in that part of the world. My missus will love it, bro. She'll love coming over there. She loves any of those places. So it'll
Yeah,
be sick.
sick. Man, how do you keep motivated? It's been like an age, like you've been training for how many years now, bro? Well, and when was the start?
Well, I started wrestling when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
MMA for like better part of a decade.
Yeah, exactly, man. So how do you motivate yourself, or it's just Groundhog Day, I just get up and just do what I have to do, or you actually do anything to kind of, I don't know, mentally to try and be still motivated to keep coming to the gym and busting your ass every day?
Yeah, it's day by day, right? There's like some days where it's kind of like that, where you're like, yeah, you really need to sort of like push yourself in that direction to kind of feel the motivation to sort of do what you do and go, fuck, all right, let's go. And then there's obviously the other days where you kind of just like get up and everything sort of, you're just raring to go. Like today was kind of like one of those days where it's like, yeah, you're just frothing to get in there. It's sparring day. You can, you know, you look at the level of the people in the room and you just kind of want to get in there and get some work in. And then obviously, you know, there's like the days where, you know, you got some of those hard sessions coming up, like a meat grinder or a spider, and it's like, fuck, like you got to like be like, all right, man, it's time to go. Like we can't fuck around. This is going to suck. This is hard. This is more difficult than a fight. So we need to do it. But I guess, yeah, it just depends. It's like anything. I mean, it's definitely a hard sport on the mental side, but then on the physical side, but probably when one or the other isn't sort of going hand in hand, it's kind of like, fuck yeah, we got to do some stuff to kind of get ourselves ready for the day.
Do you still feel like a student of the game? Like you're still actually interested in learning new things and whatnot, or are you just going through the paces of what you already know? Because you obviously racked up a lot of knowledge in that time. It's not like there's not so many things you can pick up, but there are lots of small little edges and that you can get through training with different people like you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, you're still very much trying to pick those things out that you can apply. And obviously, like you sort of said, like there's so many things that I've managed to build and acquire over the years. And there's things that I haven't even showcased like in there. But then, yeah, you're still trying to like pick people's brains and, take those little things. Like even today after sparring, I was still sitting there with like Brad and kind of picking out a few little things that he was talking about and asking him some questions. And obviously, like I have like an encyclopedia of knowledge around me in like MMA and sort of combat sports in general with the people that I'm sort of sharing the mats with and with my coaching and stuff like that. So it's like, the opportunity is there to keep adding and keep picking out those little things. And even the things that I do well, I still feel like I'm adding bits and pieces. Like you sort of said, you're not going to, I think in certain aspects, like when it comes to like the wrestling and stuff like that, I'm not going to suddenly find something that's going to be this like new thing that I've not seen or done before. But there's going to be like little ways to refine the things that I'm good at, especially, how to translate that to an MMA sort of game instead of being like a singular discipline approach that you're trying to have, which some people do.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Brad, I did a couple of pad sessions with him over in Thailand before, and along with a couple of those other CKB lads over in Hong Kong as well. And I'm an old guy now, but I'm just interested in training, still interested in the techniques and stuff. And man, I wish I had that sort of coaching when I was young, man. Like it's a whole different game, like everyone's just holding pads just to step in and bang and step out. Like no one's thinking about the entries and the exits and all that shit when I was training and fighting when I'm young, like he's great with the pads and great with his technique, especially being a shorter fighter, right? Like he's paid a lot of attention to entering and exiting, right?
Yeah, he's very obviously he's got a crazy amount of knowledge when it comes to especially the striking side of things and those little nuances of like finding range, getting in and out, knowing when to go, like utilizing your feints, utilizing your kicks. He doesn't waste movement. Like even when he throws a kick, he retracts his legs so fast. He's like even little things like that where you can tell he's like thinking about, okay, if I like where you are, where he is, what's he like Joe always says, you want to use the right tool for the right job. Brad's very much, when you're on, especially in the stand-up side of things with him, he's very much, you can tell he's always has that going in the front of his mind. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to use this. I'm going to do that. Oh, okay, cool. You're changing stance. Watch this. Now I'm going to give you this problem to solve. So it's like, yeah. And you can kind of just, it's like whenever I get to train with someone like him and then you're sort of, I guess, doing those things in those disciplines where they shine exceptionally well. Like he's a great fighter in general, and he's very, he's very dangerous across the board. Like he can wrestle, he can grapple as well. So it's like you've very much got your hands full with him across the whole every discipline of the sport. But especially in that edge of like the striking, where he is that a bit more, I guess, experienced and has like a bit more of a repertoire that he can bust out. It's like, okay, it's always like a pinch me moment where you can go, okay, cool, I'm sharing the mats with someone like that.
Yeah, bro. You'd have to be shy about that, bro. He's a stand-up fighter who learned MMA, bro. Like that's what he was, right? He's one of the most experienced guys around in stand-up. Yeah.
I watched him fight, like, from my perspective, like I watched him fight John Wayne Parr in like a cage Muay Thai fight with Little Glove.
Fucking smashed him, Jesus.
And then like today, like I'm sparring him and I'm like, it's like life's crazy.
Yeah. True, man. True. Hey, do you see yourself as a coach, bro? Like, different fighters just want to fight and that's all they'll ever be. And then there's some people who like to teach people and that's kind of the future path for them. Is that your path as well or what?
Yeah, I'll definitely end up doing that. And then, I mean, in terms of, then there'll just be find a different way to, I guess, scratch that competitive itch when it's no longer fighting. But for sure, yeah, I enjoy coaching and training people and sort of doing that, man. It's fun. And I feel like, there's a way that obviously it's another skill that you've got to learn, right? And it's something that you've got to sort of refine and work out, much like fighting itself, like the ability to translate the knowledge that you have and make it easily digestible for people and kind of, I guess, break it down in a sense that's individualized for each person, and maybe, you know, they can sort of draw from it in a way where they can apply it. It's like it's a skill and an art that I'm definitely looking forward to mastering in its own.
Nice, man. All right, bro. So any predictions you want to make, or you don't want to make any predictions against Jesse? We got Eternal 102. I think it's the 31st of January, right?
Yeah, yeah, 31st January, night before the UFC. I feel like, looking at it and, you know, just being like realistic, if anyone's watched Khabib's fight with Edson Barbosa, they can expect that's what's going to happen to Jesse when he steps in there with me. It's going to be hard for you to strike off your back when you're against the cage and on the floor, and you have that 1,000-yard stare, and you feel that pressure, and you realize why they call me Lockjaw. It's going to be a rough night and a long night for him. So,
Nice.
and then eventually, I see myself just snatching his neck and submitting him and taking him out of there.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. Looking forward to it, bro. I'm gonna be there in the flesh in a decent position to watch, so I'm looking forward to it, eh?
No, it'll be good. It'll be good to see you there.
Cool. All right, bro. Take it easy. Thanks for your time once again. Best of luck, and yeah, I'll see you there.
Thank you, bro. Take it easy. I look forward to it.
Thanks, bro.